system, man. Like the IRS is some good, benevolent organization that was set up by a so-called Jew, man. The guy behind the Vietnam conflict. Damn devil. Go ahead.
Remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set.
Now, why don't you speak against that, man?
Yeah.
You signed an application to get a 501c3 on land that was stolen from the North American Indians, which is the tribe of Gad, which you used to be a Gadite. Now you're all of a sudden magically presto change, or now you're a Judite.
Yeah.
That's it on that, man.
The ever-changing Nate.
All right, let's go back to that story, man.
Yep. Back in 501c3 facts, it says religion cannot be free if you have to pay the government through taxation to exercise it. Since churches aren't taxable in the first place, why do so many of them go to the IRS and seek permission to be tax exempt? It occurs out of ignorance. We didn't
remember it was the ATF, which was that department of the IRS that burnt down the over there in Waco, Texas, the Branch Davidians. Burnt it down with children, old people, and all that, man. Burnt them down. Then the fire people, the fire department couldn't even come in there because they held them back, man. You're locking hands with a damn wicked system, man. How many people's lives were destroyed by the IRS? You don't say nothing about that. You ain't gonna say nothing bad about the IRS.
Oh, hell no.
Go ahead.
Ignorance being number one. We didn't know any better. Bandwagon logic. Everyone.
Because everybody else is doing it. Why not I do it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Professional advice. Many attorneys and CPAs recommend it.
Yeah, because that's probably why he's doing it. Because they say, well, look, if you do this and you can make this money, you can bring this back to the back, and you can give yourself a salary. That's what you're looking for, man. You're looking to do wickedness draped under a corrupt goddamn law and telling the people that it's not corrupt. You damn demon. Go ahead.
Does the law require or even encourage a church to organize as a 501c3? To answer that question, let's turn to what the IRS itself has to say. Churches need not apply. In order to be considered for
tax. You're a church, a religious organization, a spiritual organization. It says in their own statute that you need not apply. Go ahead.
In order to be considered for tax-exempt status by the IRS, an organization must fill out and submit IRS Form 1023 and 1024. However, note what the IRS says regarding churches and church ministries in Publication 557. Some organizations are not required to file Form 1023. These include churches, interchurch organizations of local units of a church, conventions or associations of churches, or integrated auxiliaries of a church, such as a men's or women's organization, religious school, mission society, or youth group. These organizations are exempt automatically if they meet the requirements of Section 501c3. Churches are automatically tax exempt. According to IRS Code Section 508C1A, special rules with respect to Section 501c3 organizations, new organizations must notify the Secretary that they are applying for recognition of 501c3 status exemptions. Mandatory exemptions subsections A and B shall not apply. 2A. Churches, their integrated auxiliaries, and conventions or associations of churches. This is referred to as the mandatory exception rule. Thus, we see from the IRS own publications and the tax code that it is completely unnecessary for any church to apply for tax exempt status. In the IRS own words, a church is automatically tax exempt. Churches are automatically tax deductible. And what about the tax deductibility? Doesn't a church still need to become 501c3 so that the contributions to it can be taken as a tax deduction? The answer is no. According to IRS publication 526, organizations that qualify to receive deductible contributions, you can deduct your contribution only if you make them to a qualified organization. To become a qualified organization, most organizations other than churches and governments, as described below, must apply to the IRS. In the IRS own words, a church is automatically tax deductible. Churches have a mandatory exception to filing tax returns. Not only is it completely unnecessary for any church to seek 501c3 status, to do so becomes a grant of jurisdiction to the IRS by any church that obtains that state favor. In the words of Steve Nestor, IRS Senior Revenue Officer, retired, I am not the only IRS employee who's wondered why churches go to the government and seek permission to be exempted from a tax they didn't owe to begin with, and to seek a tax deductible status that they've always had anyway. Many of us have marveled at how church leaders want to be regulated and controlled.
Why you want to be regulated, nigga? Because you were set up, you were paid off, man. You know, you get mad, man. You know, when you research and check things out.
Yeah. Well, the scriptures say, he that increaseth in knowledge increaseth in grief. So the more you find out the truth, the more upset, the more madder you get. The more bitter you get. Yeah, bitter, grumpy. Reading on, it says, many of us have marveled at how church leaders want to be regulated and controlled by an agency of government that most Americans have prayed would just get out of their lives. Churches are in an amazingly unique position, but they don't seem to know or appreciate the implications of what it would mean to be free of government control. And this is from a quote from the book In Caesar's Grip, that's what you're in. You're in the grip of Caesar, Nate. The modern day.
He likes
Caesar.
being in Caesar's grip.
Yeah, that's right.
He likes being hugged up by Caesar.
The love handles of Caesar.
Yeah, the love handles of Satan. Hey, but anyway, we're going to go into the scriptures. All right. Let's start here. This is going into the fact that if you're a man of the Lord, you have to know all the scriptures, man. You're supposed to know the whole book. Not half of the book, not 90% of the book. You're supposed to know the whole book. That's why you in the position of being an elder or a leader. All right? Let's start off with what is that? Chronicles. Let's start off at Chronicles. I'm sorry, Colossians. Colossians 1:19.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 1 and verse 19. It says, for it pleased the Father that in him should all fullness dwell, and having made peace through the blood of his cross, by him to reconcile all things unto himself. By him I say, whether they be things in earth or things in heaven. And you that were sometimes alienated and enemies in your mind,